Controlled airspace is airspace in which air traffic control, or ATC, has the authority to control air traffic, the level of which varies with the different classes of airspace. Classes of controlled airspace are A, B, C, D, and E. If you, as a remote pilot, a drone pilot, if you are planning to fly in any of these classes of airspace, you actually have to get pre-approval or authorization from air traffic control or the FAA to have the ability to conduct your flight operation. Because, simply put, it's controlled airspace. The first controlled airspace that we will take a look at is Class A. Class A is not really that important for us as remote pilots, but we still need to understand the rules and regulations for it and where it starts and ends at. So Class A goes from 18,000 feet mean sea level to flight level 600. Flight level is simply another form of altitude. So once it goes above 18,000 feet mean sea level, the altitudes are now expressed as flight levels. All you have to do to change it back to that altitude is add 2 zeros to that flight level number. So if it's flight level 600, I just add 2 zeros and I get 60,000 feet. So Class A goes from 18,000 feet mean sea level to 60,000 feet, also known as flight level 600. Now, as you can see, because it starts at 18,000 feet, it's not that important for us as remote pilots. We're nowhere near that altitude. We're at 400 feet or below, and that's an above ground level number. So wherever we take off at with our drone, we can climb up to 400 feet above ground level. We're nowhere near that 18,000 feet mean sea level number as a remote pilot. All operations in Class A are conducted under Instrument Flight Rules, or IFR, using an IFR flight plan. We, as remote pilots, fall under a different set of rules, and those set of rules are known as VFR. IFR, or Instrument Flight Rules, is a different set of rules for manned aircraft, for manned pilots. It's completely different from visual flight rules. Basically, IFR gives the ability for manned pilots to fly in weather that's not considered visual meteorological conditions, which also means that the weather is just not that great outside. The pilot can't see that far outside of their aircraft, and they actually have to rely on their instruments to be able to fly the aircraft successfully. And anytime these pilots are operating in Class A, it doesn't matter if the weather's good or bad, they have to be under an instrument flight plan or an IFR flight plan. That does not pertain to us as remote pilots though. Class A is also not depicted on a VFR sectional chart. You will not see it on a sectional chart. The other classes of airspace that we are going to cover through this course, they're all on the sectional chart, except Class A, because of the altitude it starts at. It's just expected of you as a remote pilot to know that even though it's not depicted on a sectional chart, it's still there. That airspace still exists, and it starts at 18,000 feet. The next airspace that we're going to look at in the next video is Class B airspace.